Hey guys, how you doing? Let's do it to it. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. Alright, let's give it a go. We're gonna try to I'm gonna see if he takes. We knew he was gonna do that. You might try C5. Then we'll do C4. Okay, C4. We got him. He got into the pin. Remember what we talked about? If we can get this pin, remember when, in one of our lessons, I believe it was not the King's Indian. I think it was our first. I think it was our first chapter. If he does this here, which is inferior move, you always pin with the bishop, and then next you go with the queen, and then next you go with the knight to e5, which picks a piece up. He'll probably resign here. Hold on, let me see here. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, wait a second. I could have taken the queen. Ah. That's okay. I need to stay focused. I lost focus for a second. So don't lose focus. It still worked out, but not as good as I would have liked. We're still a whole rook ahead, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted to be more. I wanted to be a queen ahead. But you have to do with what you got. Okay, I'll play it today. After this. Let's see here. Let's develop a knight. Yeah, if he plays there, let's retreat out. Let's see if he actually plays here. The idea is I want to try to get this pawn pushing. Okay. Oh boy. Boy. I'm gonna have to push there. Oh wow, I didn't play that. Okay. Thought he was gonna play over here. Yeah, up on time for sure. See if I take. He takes. I think I could actually take on this and get a pawn too before I win the rook. I mean, before I win the queen. Yeah, I can take that. So if queen takes here, queen takes f7. There we go. Excuse me. Yeah, you just queen there. He left. So, on move 34. Yeah, but I thought to myself, well, actually, this wins here. I should have done that. That's mate. Queen f8's mate. Drat, I missed that. Queen f8. That equals mate. Let's see. What? Stop doing that. APUR. Okay, here we go. There we go. Bum ba bum 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 bum. Oh, it's just fun. You know what? You can actually have fun, and then it's not about rating. See that's what I've learned is that rating. Yes, you get rating, but remember, we're all about learning. Let's see here. It's okay. Hey, it's all about learning. Remember that. I don't want my bishop to get trapped. Okay. Gotta get into our lesson now. You did great. I gotta tell you, you played great. You know what? Great, good job. You know what? So remember, the reason we do casuals is so that no rating points are lost for when you guys play, because it's not about points. It's about learning. That's one thing I learned. That's what my teacher taught me, my Grandmaster teacher. That something happens when you do rating with your students and your team. You lose something in your studies. So I took to heart what my Grandmaster teacher taught me, and you know what? That's why I don't do rated ones. Let's see. Gotta make sure. Do I have? Is this the next one? Yes, it is. Yeah, he was a really great teacher. He passed on to be with the Lord, and so I know where he is. That's the whole thing. That's what it's all about. D4, knight f6. Okay. Knight f3. B5, which is really odd. This game always puzzled me when I saw B5. I was like, it's not the orangutan, because that'd be the first move for white to be B4. So this is kind of, it's not the birds opening with F5. It's a kind of interesting setup for sure. For sure. Okay. This is called, the Polish defense. Black takes advantage of the fact that white did not play c4 by playing b5. And that is an interesting way of looking at it for sure. And also, if a knight tries to go with c3, you also have another push of b4, and then supported by a5, and you have a pretty big squeeze on the queen side. And I kind of now see why they do that. So, but remember, we're playing the London system, so we don't need to go c4. If not, we can always go c3. We maybe won't even move any pawns on the queen side for a while, and maybe just play e3, bishop to d3, and then when black overextends, then we take advantage. But you don't need to push if it looks kind of uncomfortable. Let them overextend, and then you, in the Aikido principle, you take advantage of their overextension and make them pay for doing that. You can also play the Tori system with our Trompowsky system with g5, bishop g5. And now if he goes knight e4, h4, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, fianchettos. That's right. That's the line I remember now. Knight bd7, or bd2, not bd7. G6. Knight takes, bishop takes, of course, and then e3 to let light square bishop out. Also, you're taking scope on b5. Okay. Okay. A6 is forced in that line because you really don't want to play d6. You kind of want to leave that open. I mean, c6. You want to leave that open potentially for d6 and c5 to kind of break the center. You don't want to use up your lever attack or opening as these. Yeah. So c4, wham, boom. You know, you're going for it. White has an edge due to his piece developmental advantage. And so if there's also another line that isn't as good for black as well. E6, if E6 is played, that's actually a mistake. Oops, I gotta move there. That's actually a mistake here. So I gotta put the mistake mark. Hold on, what? Oops, wrong. My bad. Not there. This is what I was talking about. E6. There we go. That's right. I knew I had it. I knew I had it somewhere. There we go. Okay, dokie. Make sure. Let me make sure my notes that I have it in the right page. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Got it. G5. Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. We got it now. I'm on the right page. Nice. And then we go E4 because, of course, if he takes, boom, there goes the queen. So this E4 takes advantage of a pin. So H6, bishop H, G5, knight takes G5, pawn takes G5. I've had this played on me before. It's a pain in the drain. What did I miss here? Oh, I missed on move 5. Drat. It wasn't that. Yeah, I gotta remember to get my notes. E5. Wham. Okay, boy. Let me go back here. I have to get it all rerouted now. E4. There we go. A6. E5. Oh, ace, not A6, not A6 to protect that. Sorry, guys. I sometimes I think of Harry all the time. I forget about Alfred. E5. There we go. H6. Now we're on the right track. There we go. Now we're good. Now we're all good. It's all good now. Black can't recapture because of queen to F3 is a move that could be played. Black can't recapture. So there's also one more line, which is a fianchetto line. One more line. H6, which is, now that's a blunder. You don't weaken your king side. That's actually what white wants. Boom. He takes. He takes. E3. Now we're eyeballing B5. E3, and that's it. White has a terrific position, although I managed to. Hey, this is actually from the author's one of his opening game spots. He managed to actually kind of lose this. But he says at this point White has a really good game because of how fractured and oddly shaped the kingside pawn structure is. So let us continue on fianchettoing. E3, of course. Now we're eyeballing B5, of course. A6 force, because he doesn't want to make it. He doesn't want to dedicate this C pawn because he wants to be able to go, like we said, D6 and C5 and crack open the center. So knight bd2. Another possibility for white is a4. A4 is an interesting thing because b. Then if he plays b4, knight bd7, bd2, and then d5, and knight to b3, which now we have a potential outpost on c5. And this was from one of his other games, the author's other game as well. He had another game that he played against a player. So that's that move, and let's continue onward and upward. There we go. See, there's no reason to move your queenside pawns at this moment. Let black overextend, and then at the right moment, bring the hammer down, the thunder hammer, Thor's hammer. Let me see. C5, C3, knight C6. This reminds me of a game we played before, a very similar one in a prior chapter. I think it was chapter, because we're in chapter 9 now. I think it was chapter 6 or 5 or 6. This reminded me of a game. See, the London system has patterns. Yes, it comes out of the Polish or Polish or whatever the name this opening is, Indian Polish. But the setup starts looking very similar. The pawn structure, so it'll start reminding you. You'll be going looking at a book or a game and be going, hey, we went over that. I know how to do that. You do this, this, and this, and that's when your learning has come to the next plateau, like what Bruce Lee says. So castles d6. And then e4, exclam. This is a really strong move here. If he takes, we'll take back, and then we'll have a really strong setter. We're starting to deprive. Yeah, many would think that h3 is a good idea, but it's really dubious. Oops, not dubious. There we go. Because there's really no reason for this, because let's say that he plays here, right? You can go there. Let's say he plays there. He goes here. Let's say he plays here, right? You could actually take at this point, and then takes, and then check. And if the king comes here, then you just grab that pawn and hello, I'm up 3. I'm up 2 pawns, and you're in deep trouble, my friend. Deep trouble. So that's why e4 is a great move. He goes e5. Kaboom. And then we just retreat back. If he wants to take, we'll take, takes, and now we're good. And the black's king is castled, so we got him. Yeah, he says normally black would love to pick up the dark squared bishop in this line, but there's no real way that he could do that. He'd end up like what we just saw, having a problem, a big time problem. So he avoids that like the plague with there. And let's see, h3, okay. If now black tries to pick up the knight with a bishop with g4, it's a very dubious move, because he's wasting moves to pick up this bishop, and it's not worth it. It's not worth picking up the bishop, because what we can do is just go d5, and now if knight takes, pawn takes, and then e7, right? This allows us to actually now bring our knight in with our queen to h5, and now black's gonna feel the burn, as they say, the afterburn. It's not gonna be fun. So he plays there, And now I believe we can actually jump right in and say, hello, honey, I'm home. I gotcha. We got you now. The queen comes sliding in, and it's all over but the crying. So queen to b8. It's like, really? Are you kidding me? Wham! Kaboom! Leaving black in a serious difficulties. He has a couple moves that he can play. Let me see here. If we go back, okay. Let's see, not there. Let's see, what would be the next? Knight b8's another line that we can go down. a4. Of course, now we can take, and if he takes, we can play takes, queen takes, and then bishop takes. Or we could just play takes, takes, and bishop takes. Then if he wants to take, we just take. So we're fine. Either way, we're winning. c4 is played for him, and then we just retreat the bishop to c2. Knight takes. Hold on. Uh-oh, my bad there. I did G. I did G. That's my bad there, guys. Sorry about that. A4. There we go. C4. Now he takes. What am I missing here? C4. Oh, snap! I missed. Let me see. 12. Uh-oh. That's my problem right there. After d5, gotcha. Oh, okay. I went a little too. I went back a little too far. Here we go. Now this makes sense. c4 back. Knight takes e. There we go. I knew there was a sitch somewhere in the notes, and now I have to correct that for a second. Just give me a sec. Okay, got it corrected now. Perfect. Alright, we got it all wrote down now. Right on. So here, now we got the attack. Queen to bishop e7. A takes b. A takes b. Rook takes. Bishop takes. And b3. Now we're gonna try to obliterate the queenside structure. So he takes b, and then bishop to d3. Exclam! Oh yeah, we have a double attack. Gotta love it. Yep. Munchy, munchy, munchy time. Then c4. Kaboom! Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Oh, not c4. A little too happy. Queen, rook e1. That's the sitch. Now he's gonna try to get his knight involved. There we go. We got it. Boom. Now we're retaking. We have a pretty compact structure. He's kind of in a problem at this moment, and we're going to take advantage of it. So knight c. He really doesn't have anywhere for his knight to go. It's kind of like, hello, where do you think you're going? Before, and now we're getting a spot for our knight to come in. Hello, right in there. So f5 was played. c4. F takes e. Knight takes e. Castles. And knight c3, which now we're eyeballing this pawn twice, and white eventually wins the b pawn over enough pressure, like bringing the rook over, potentially maybe bringing the knight. So back here and then in there. So if you brought this knight here, you have enough, and then you bring this rook over, and you have everybody in the fray. You have all the pieces attacking the b pawn. It's eventually gonna collapse. So we just have to wait for that day. So h3 here. We've finally reached it's called the Chagorian Lopez position, which he says is his favorite opening. White doesn't waste time playing he would have went to b5. We would have went to b5, and then a, and then b, and then potentially c. White doesn't waste that. He just brings his bishop out, castles, and so he's actually like 3 or 4 tempi ahead. He does in the normal, basically Lopez line. Instead, he saves time by playing bishop to d3. In one shot, he notices that black really doesn't have any. He doesn't have a tempo that he can gain. There's no tempo that black can gain in this sitch. e5 doesn't really do anything because the bishop is safe on e3. c5 does 0. These two pawns do 0, and this is a backward pawn, so it's all in white's favor at this moment. So black decides the only safest thing at this moment and wisest thing to do is to castle. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. There is another line that could be played. C takes d4, c takes d4, and then knight to b4 with a question mark, because we're not too concerned if he picks up our bad bishop. We just retreat. Now we dominate the knight. Remember, when a bishop's 2 squares away like this, the knight is dominated by the bishop. So e takes, knight takes, and only white can win this. In this type of setup, only white has the superior advantage because of black's isolated d6 pawn. That's why h castles, and then d5, boom, right up there. He goes knight to b, saying that if we tried knight to a7, which is silly, this to guard b5, this is kind of a silly idea because maybe you're wanting to play a5 and then b4. This knight would do duty doing that, but do you want that, or how do you want to actually guard it? Because you can guard it 2 ways. b8's a better way of guarding it. You do lose the contact with the queen and rooks, so you have to weigh the odds on that. a4, c4 to attack the bishop, and then bishop to e2, exclam, because what we're trying to do is have all of our snipers eyeballing the king side, and that's the way to do it. They're saying much stronger than C. This move here is much stronger than C. This is a weaker line. This is more of a forcing line. So rather than this right here is best. But there is that line too, but it's not as strong because you want freedom for your bishop, and the only way to get freedom is that way on e2. Okie dokie. Knight bd7, and then b3, because we're trying to break down the queen side for black. This is all the only oops. This is black's only shot. It's on the queen side. If we can knock out the queen side counterplay, we're the one who's kicking it at that point. So let me see here. B takes. So B takes C. Boom. There is another line. I've played this before. It's not as good. I've noticed that you can actually play at this point B takes, B takes, B takes C, and then rook takes A, queen takes, of course, and then rook to A1, A8, and queen C. Let me make sure my notes are right. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So okay. Up. I knew it. I knew it. I have to go over one. That's what the problem was. So takes, and then bishop takes the pawn. Kaboom! We've won a pawn here. After which black's control over c5 has been terminated, and white reigns supreme now because he annihilated the queen side. All of black's counterplay has gone up in smoke. It's all like Bill and Ted would say, dust in the wind. Okay. B takes A4. Wow, that's kind of an odd. It's interesting, but kind of different. Now, these are targets forever and ever. They're targets. B takes C, and then knight to B takes C. A5 to lock this down, which makes this bishop disgusting looking. Ugh. Gross, gross, gross. And then C2 to hold the line. We could take this anytime we want. We have a double attack on it. Not to worry. A to B8, trying to get some domination. And rook FB1, trying to say you ain't got nothing. Nothing. I'm going to dominate it, so don't you get any ideas of thinking that you have control. I'm the one with the control. And then finally, kaboom, when it's time, when everything's perfectly placed for white goes boom and takes the pawn. It's like, yes. Finally, white has accomplished a massive attack at that point. You don't have to take right away. This allows for the queen just to enter and say, her lady's here. Now it's, and then she comes in. She's like, oh look at, and then all of a sudden she draws like two swords out. It's like, you don't let in that, otherwise it'll end up being your demise. And black figured that out by Barry taking A4. Barry got basically obliterated by the queen with kaboom. And so the knight's like, you took out my brother. You're not going to get away from it. You're not going to get away with it. And then the bishop's like, yes, she's going to get away with it. I will save you, my queen. I will save you. And so the bishop goes kaboom and sacrifices itself for the realm. The queen comes down. The other queen's like, you know what? This queen thinks that she can slice and dice. I can slice and dice as well as she can. So then she comes right into the fray and does her bang. And then this knight's like, that knight thought it could dance around? Watch me. And so this knight's coming in, attacking the queen, saying, you may have, excuse me, you may have two swords, but I have a horse, and I'm a knight. I could charge in there. So you better run away. And so she runs away back to c7, and then the pawn goes, "Is it time, my liege?" And the king goes, "Go for it. I give you basically the charge." And the pawn goes kaboom. It's like, I've waited for this day for the realm, and now the pawn gets an exclamation mark for being heroic and giving its life for the kingdom. It gets a Medal of Honor. And now we'll read at this point what white has in this position, because you always have to, on a battlefield, you have to take scope of the land before you enter in for the next battle. Generals will go out and look at the territory, see where they should put their artillery, their snipers, their foot units, everything. So we got to see if white has a good grip, where white has it, and what does white need to do to emphasize its advantage. So let's take a look. Okay, white returns the extra pawn. So Charles gives its life up for to clear the way for the sniper, our light square bishop. And also c5 gums up the position, which means if it does take, the pawn does take, this will have a passer, and this position is kind of like ugh, because there's a isolated pawn when it takes. And of course, if black doesn't take, white's Charles most definitely will take Darrell and defeat Darrell. So Darrell's like, "Do I have the orders?" And black goes, "It may ruin our position, but we still have to take Charles." So Charles gets taken by Darrell. Okay, B takes. I have to make sure I have this right. Yes, I got it right. I'm at the right spot now. A5. So the knight's like, "I'm coming in. Your life wasn't in vain." So he says, "I see an outpost. I'm gonna jump right in there. If the sniper wants to take me out, my queen will protect me." So the sniper goes, "I think I'm going to retreat to a better sniping post," but actually the sniper made a wrong decision here. The bishop did. Should have waited for the artillery units to come into play via rook to b8. This would have been better, because the artillery would have had their brothers working together. But when that bishop cut off the the Rook brothers, now there's a problem with communication. They can't get information back to HQ. This bishop is jamming up the communications. So they're like saying, "What do we do? I don't know. What do we do?" Communications have been broken at that point. So queen to c6. The queen's like, "Alright, it's time to duel. Let's see what you got." And the queen's like, "No, I'm not gonna duel you today. Another day, another time, but not right now." And so it's an interesting idea. She goes over to where the artillery is and says, "I will stay here for a while. I am not going to allow your knight to come in." And that would have been a problem if that had happened. So we'll see what happens. We'll play the scenario out of what would have happened if the queen had taken. So knight takes. Now the knight takes back, and it's a pretty powerful knight here. The queen was willing to give her life up for the realm. So d6. This sniper is like, now it's in like a building with no windows. It can't even get into the fight. It's blocked by a building. It's like, but it's at least holding a structure so that the enemy forces can't blitz, which would be Darrell coming up the board. So it has to hold that building. So d2, knight d2. The knight's like, don't worry, we're coming over. I'm coming in. So bishop to bishop d, bishop fianchettos and trying to attack the knight. So the knight comes back and is attacking the bishop. Rook fb8 now. Finally, the brothers are connected again and they're coming over. Now these two brothers are like, we can do the same thing. So you know what? You're not out of the woods. And then the bishop retreats back and says, now it's artillery time. Let's see who's better. And knight a to c4. Knight a c4. Because we want to see if we can't grab this bishop who's all alone in a building. We're going to see if we can't grab it. The knight comes and says, don't worry, I will take your place if you get taken. And the knight's like, I'm not settling for just you. I don't want another knight to come there. I want this bishop or this rook. So give me. A7. And then the knight goes kaboom and takes. Rook takes now. The rook dominates the open file. Hold on. Hold on. A5. Hold on. Oh, snap. I knew I forgot something. Hold on, guys. I have to reroute this AC. There we go. That's the sitch. I knew we had a problem here. There we go. Now we kaboom takes, and then there goes the pass pawn for black has been annihilated. So it's white who has the advantage only in this line. White's the only one. Congrats, white. So a6. A7. Before we're attacking bishop d. Knight takes pawn. Kaboom. Bishop takes. Of course, rook's gonna take. Bishop attacks the queen. And the queen grabs the pawn. Queen takes. Now it's time for the final duel, and the rook says, "Don't worry, I will replace your spot. You will not go down in vain." And so the knight comes in and goes, "But I am a knight. I will rule the day." And it comes. There we go. So now we're attacking the bishop, and then the knight takes the pawn. If bishop to d5, rook d1 to attack the bishop, bishop b3 to attack the rook, of course, rook d4 to attack the knight. So this rook is doing its job. Knight f6, then knight c6, and now we're coming in, we're getting everything ready for this pawn to get promoted. Bishop e6. Oops, I gotta put exclam there. This is actually a really good move. Bishop e6, and then bishop g4. Everything is taking scope on this pawn here. To get the pawn to go. And this gets an exclam. Okay, e8. Rook to e7. Now d4 is coming down the tube, yeah. So that's what would have happened, but didn't. Rook D1. Oops, not there. Rook D1. So we're getting all of our pieces into the fight. AC8. And then rook to D7. Exclam. There's no reason to fret. We're ready for the KO. It's over now. Black loses material. So knight to E4 was played. If rook C, not C, hold on. I have to make sure I get this right. Hold on a little bit longer. C to D8. No, hold on. C, E, oh, 1 sec. That's right. Drops a piece after F4. The knight's protected F6. We take there, and the piece gets picked off. Because if takes here, I believe we can actually check there, but I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, I know. If he takes there, we just grab that. That's right. I knew there was something there. Just had to see it, right? So B5. 30, 30, 30. Not B5. I'm sorry, not B5. Hold on. A4. There we go. We gotta get rid of. We gotta promote this to the main move. Not B5. Get rid of that. E4. Let me see. Bishop takes. It takes the pawn. Rook D1. And F E8 to attack the knight. Bishop takes the pawn. Now the knight's protected, and white's won a pawn. F3. And the knight has 2 points to protect the rook. So let's see what it does. F3 is actually the best, so we got it like that. So takes, knight takes, E4 again, and rook to E7, knight D6, and then bishop takes, and knight takes. Actually, knight doesn't take. Black resigns in this at this moment because there's really no hope. He's a whole rook down. Now let's read. Yeah, this is what he says. We're gonna go back and do a and then we're gonna do our puzzles. Be prepared when black plays B5, the B5 line. Let's go back. B5 line. Just play normally, he says, and just do the setup like we normally do. Just set up like in the London system. Don't panic because he plays B5. It's nothing. We got it. We love it, and then we just implement the London and kick back and win. Okay. Because we know what to do. Alright, now I'll leave you guys with this. I'll be right back. Take a look, put in the chat what you guys think, and I'll be right back. see where we are. Hold on, perfectos. Good tea. I like tea. Okay. Trying to see if we can't pick up a pawn here. There's a couple. Hey, how you doing? There's a couple moves we could play here. There's a couple. I'm going to bring my keyboard a little closer. The first one I see the most forcing is bishop e6 check. That's an idea. Or oh, good. You can't have a bad day with when you're doing chess. Then the next one I'm looking at is bishop. You have to look at for caps. There's bishop on actually f takes e5 is an idea, or next is attacking the queen, so bishop e1. Let me see, is there anything else that we can do? I think these are the three ideas that I could see for our first combo. There's bishop to e6 check, f takes e4, but that would actually lose the bishop. So there's really only two that have any teeth to them. One is the bishop to e6 check, so that these are the main ideas that I was looking at. These two ideas here. And I'll let you guys take a look to see. I don't think that the checking idea is a good idea. Well, maybe it is. Maybe we can... yeah. But the only problem is, let's see, if we take... guess it goes back to economy, when economy says if you see the material, what do? You take the material. So we have to calculate into that the material taking then. So if we played bishop takes d7, what could he actually play here? Oh, he could do perpetual. No, he can't do perpetual. He could try to check here. So if we play bishop takes d7, he can try queen g3 check. That's what he could try at that point. Well, then I guess we could play, when he does that, copy. Okay, I believe king h1. King h1 maybe after that, and I think we're okay in that line. Hey, how you doing? Oh, we're just doing a puzzles right now. We went over a learning thing and how to play the London system, and so now we're doing our puzzle section. If you guys have a game you want to go over, we'll do that too. We're looking at if we play bishop takes d7, there's queen g3, and then now we're thinking king to h1, which is the only forced, that's the forced move. And what does, yeah. A little bit. Let's see here. Let's see. So what do you guys think about our idea of bishop takes e7, d7, queen g3 check, and then king h1? I believe that's the line. I don't really see anything else. What do you guys think? I believe bishop takes d7 for the first move. That's what I vote on. What do you think, Fox? Do you like that line? Have a line? Okay, let's take a look at that. Because we're at a point where if you get it wrong, you lose like 30 points. So we want to make sure that we have the correct line. Because sometimes the lines that you think are correct, 2 to 3 to 4, maybe even 6 moves down the road, it lands you with a draw rather than a victory in that you could have got points. That's what I'm trying to say. Bishop takes, queen g, king h8, and rook a d8. I think we can actually do this line, Fox, and then if he plays here, we play there, and then he brings the rook over. We can bring our bishop to e1 at this point. So the continuation of the line that I was looking at is here, and we'll go with the line you talked about. Rook, what was it? Rook a d8, not d5, d8. Then we can play bishop to e1, and I think we repel the queen. I believe this is the line here, and then we repel the queen. First move, we take here. That's their first move. Second move, and then third move for white. And then I don't know where I think the queen's trapped at this point. Almost trapped. Yeah, you could, but the only problem, if you did check, you would, the knight could take your bishop. So you have to always make sure that your bishop in these puzzles aren't it isn't on capture, because we want to acquire the material, then 2 moves later be able to, yeah. It's not that it's not a good move. Yeah, it is a good move, but the only problem is there's a knight on d4. If there wasn't a knight on d4, that would have been a great move. But because there's a knight on d4, the knight can sacrifice itself for the bishop, and then this pawn would fall, and you know, everything would break loose and cause a lot of problems for white. White's teetering on the edge as is, and we need to get some compensation for our weakening of the king. Let's go for it. Boom. Whoa. Whoa, that's pretty intense there. Didn't even think of that. Whoa. Why would... Yikes. Yikesies, yikesies. Huh. I guess the only move that would be playable at this point would be bishop to e1, right? Bishop e1. I'm thinking bishop e1. That repels the queen, and then we can attack. I think it leads to a perpetual. I don't know if it leads to mate. I think black would be able to bail. No. We would, yeah, it would be perpetual, because if we played here, right here, the queen can come in. Once we play there, she could take the pawn, then we play back, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, and you get a draw. Yeah, it's a perpetual. No, you don't have to be sorry. There's no sorry. You know what? We're all here about, this is all about learning. That's the whole thing. All about learning. You just want to do the most accurate move. This teaches your brain to choose, unlike the Indiana Jones type of thing, it teaches your brain to choose wisely. Because if you don't choose wisely, same thing as Indiana Jones happens to your king. Bye-bye, king. But if you choose wisely, your king survives, and potentially you go on to hold a piece and win the game. So we want to choose wisely. I think at this point, if we can repel the bishop by, I gotta tell you, you had a good idea, Gaming 23. You had a good idea, but you have to, we did a problem last night that was very similar. Or was it 2 nights ago? It was move order. You had to throw in one move before that. So bishop to e1, the queen goes to not e7, e7, and then bishop a5 should, or a4 should be able to hold. You'll hold your bishop at that point. First of all, bishop, queen moves, and then the bishop goes. So you were on the right track, Gaming 23, but you just one move. We needed to add one move before that, so you were on the right track. And you can't take this pawn. So the sweet thing is, he can't take the pawn. So like when we come back here, it undiscovers an attack on the knight. So you'd probably think, can't he just take? So when we play here, he plays there and back. Oops, sorry, here, here, back. If he tried to take this pawn, our queen would just grab the knight. Actually, it can't grab the knight. The bishop's protecting it. So maybe it could grab the pawn. Very puzzling there. Puzzle, puzzle, puzzle. Maybe we are missing something. I know that idea is right. Sometimes it's we've actually done puzzles where it's just a small little kink that you have to get out. Like sometimes you have like a hose and you're wondering why the water doesn't come out of the hose. And then you go down the line and you see that it's kinked. That's kind of what sometimes you have to unkink the position just for a second, and then the water flows out to free you the hose. Yeah, I'm thinking you guys are right. There we go. I want to see what the continuation though is. I believe he's going to play here. Kind of puzzled about the continuation. What if he plays there? Oh, he can't play there. My bad. Take that off the board. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. Then we retreat that. Yep, there goes the bishop. See, you guys had it right. You had it right. Then if he takes, yeah, bring the king over. There's no light square problems anymore. Yep. See, the only problem is if we didn't. I'll show you the small kink in the hose. If we had played this right away, he potentially has perpetual, and he would just do perpetual. I don't think a player would have the courage to play what the computer would do. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Alright, we're going over a game. Hurrah. I love that. Games are fun. Whoa. What's the Sir George attack? Our defense. Wow. That's interesting, huh? E6. That is different. I think that's what it is. Is it Saint George attack or something like that? Oh, The Lion by Ginger. Okay. B5, F4. I'm glad you're listening to Ginger. He's a really great teacher. I gotta tell you, in my opinion, he has the potential to go for the world. He's that good of a player. He just has to believe that he could do it. You know, it all goes back to the Bruce Lee, phrases that he talked about. You can will to do it, but unless you, you can be willing, but if you don't do it, you'll never be. So H6, knight F3, G6, castles. Wow, you got a ton of development here. F5, G5, pawn takes, You're wanting this to happen so that you acquire the bishop here. Well, you know what? You know what? It all starts out with that, and then what you have to do is put in the work. See, you know what? You don't get good at something by just believing, but first of all, it takes believing. You have to believe that, you have to believe that you want to do it, and then when you do put the effort in, you'll end up becoming what you want to be. You know what I mean? You just got to put in the time. Like Alekhine wasn't the best player. He didn't have natural talent in chess, but he outworked everybody in chess. He studied when most people were sleeping. He studied. He didn't have natural talent, but he outworked them. So there's a lot of people that don't have a lot of natural talent, but they can outwork people that do have natural talent, and then they become great. So, you know what? It's all up to you. It's the ball is as why Bruce Lee says that. The ball, if you're playing tennis, the ball has been volleyed right back on the other side of your court, and it's up to you what you want to be at that point. You're the one that has your destiny in mind, and it's if you want to put in the work. That's one thing I've learned is the Lord gives us free will, and it's what you want to do with that free will that makes all the difference. Okay, E3. What? Yeah, there are. You have to learn a lot in chess, and it is a lot of work. So I do agree with you on that. Sounds like a deal. We'll go over that one too. Okay, so here, so nice work. Okay, wow. So nice. Oh, I like that move, Fox. That's taking advantage of this pin right here. Nice job, nice job. Yeah, we'll go over yours too. Not to worry, not to worry. Queen there, and now you're hacking away at his center. You gotta love that. Your king's safe, his is exposed, and you're gonna take it. Nice fork. Nice job there. Wow, you're just demoing the player. Nice work. That's nice too, because if he takes here, you could take back. Kaboom. And now if he goes G6, you can, I believe, play bishop, queen D3. You have to do that. That's cutting him off. You're walking him down the board, and his only move is there. At this, he could actually play knight here, but and then you just grab that, and then, oops, not there. My bad. Boom is mate. Kaboom. So he could avoid mate just temporarily with that. So nice work, Fox. Good job, nice tactics, nice setup, and nice execution. That's the berserker way. You know what? You set it up, you get your goal, you execute the goal, and you win. Okay, let's take a look at this. Oops, I need to turn off the engine so it's not distracting us while we're doing it. Castles. Knight f6. Nice. D3. D6. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so you guys played the I think it's the Pannoni defense. H3. Okay. Let's see. What did you castled? Okay. Not bad. C3. H6. Okay, so you're making a flight square for the king and stopping the knight, our bishop to come in. It's not a bad idea. Prophylactic. So rook to E8. You're preparing for D4. I kind of see what you're saying. You're preparing for that move so that if you retreat back and he takes, you now have a knight takes and pawn takes, then queen takes. Something similar to this. Now you have that set up. I kind of see what your plan is there. So he doesn't want to bite into, white doesn't want to bite into that at all. So he's trying to develop. You got white in a squeeze, a bind, and now you're just gonna slowly deprive your opponent of air on the chessboard. A5. Now, yeah, you're going after his pieces. Nice. Wow, that's a crazy move. That's a berserker move. You gotta say that. I thought he'd play that there. Then you'd probably take, pawn takes, and now he has the knight to jump to c4, and that kind of was a suicide mission. That was more of a kamikaze setup. Not very good for black. I mean for white. That was a bad move. Should have retreated back and accepted the exchange, and then got an open file, and then rerouted the knight. And even he maybe could have played b3, and then maybe rerouted it something like there, something better than that. That's just crazy. Too crazy. But you gotta love crazy though. That's what makes games fun. That's what makes games really fun. When you get these kind of lines and the players go all out, and it's like, oh yeah, then you know it's going to be a fun, tight game. It's going to be a firecracker game. That's what I always call it. When you light that fuse, boom, 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 boom. So, oh, nice. Actually, that wasn't a bad, interesting idea there. So you guys had to trade off like that, huh? That's funny. It looks very similar. Yeah. That is funny. That is really funny. See, I told you it's going to be a firecracker attack. I knew that was gonna happen. When they do those sacks, they do it for a reason, and that's the fun. That's when you get the sack material like that. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You gotta love that. Kaboom. A3. Yeah, that deserves a kaboom. Our from Kim Possible. Booyah. Booyah. That's a good one, Fox. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's funny. I gotta love that. That's funny. That's funny. Funny, funny. That's some good chess humor right there. King G1. Well, it would have been funny. Yeah, it would have been funny if you would have just did the same move as he did. That would have been even funnier. It's like, if you're not gonna meet with me and move away, I'll move away too. That would have been funny. I'm surprised he didn't play something like this though. Trying to put a little bit of pressure on the position. So that mainly the queen would have to drop back. Then you have something like that. So maybe the queen would have to actually move all the way back. Again. And now you white would have, in my opinion, a pretty good position here. Queen G3. Yeah, they didn't think of that. Queen G3 that is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. That does cause white a very bad problem, doesn't it? Well, in that line, then black probably would have to move. Something like this. He'd have to move to get out of this pin. And I'm sure then the rooks would start flowing in. Yeah, nice find there, Fox. That's good. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Nice. Okay, you're retreating back. Ooh, this is on pre though. I don't think you really have a problem because really there's no attack. Well, maybe he could play here. But I think that'd be a silly move now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good move. So the bishop's flowing in. A5. Nice. I like that. Your idea is to go in for an outpost. I like that move. That's really good. Nice. Good find there. You're learning the principles that a lot of players, beginner players, don't understand. Is outposts are critical in chess. Yeah. This also is a good move too. The bishop moving back is a really good move. It prevents the rook from coming to f7, and also protects your pawn and allows knight to go to c4. In some lines, the knight clogging up a file like this is very beneficial. So always, even if you're down in exchange, remember you can always clog up spots with your knights. They're kind of like the cork. You can always cork a bottle or something like that, or in canning you can can, and kind of a knight's good at doing that. It keeps its stuff good for a while. Okay, knight g6. You guys know what I mean. Oh boy, let's see, knight g6. Okay, so the queen, interesting. Idea of going for a fork. Liking that idea. Yeah, but he has a fork too, so he really can't do that. I don't know, I kind of like this move here. Now that we think about it. If he comes up here, we take. He has to take there, and then you take, and you're up in exchange here. I like this idea. I like this idea here. I think you would have been better to have done the fork. This idea, kept with your forking idea. What if he doesn't? Okay, let's see. True. Maybe something similar to that. I think, let me see, how many pawns do you have? 5. Yeah, he'd be 1 pawn up. It'd be interesting to say the least. I believe you. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, sweet. That was a sweet combo. Nice. Yeah, I should have played rook takes. He actually didn't have too bad of a position. I think he was concerned about taking there. Just move the king, and you still have he still has this weakness with the bishop. Sometimes yeah. So that's a great game. Great job. One second, let me take a look. Great job. So do you guys have any other games you want to go over? Great job there. Yeah, I was just sometimes players get frustrated and they make these. This is a double question mark blunder right here. This king takes. It's a double question mark. And this move back here also is a blunder as well. So that'd get a blunder because of that. Best would have been. Let me see. I'm just trying to find the best for. Maybe rook here, and then trying to double. And if he tries that, you always have doubling. I'm thinking maybe this would have been best. I always got time for you guys. Hold on, just gonna get a drink of water first, though. That's one thing you guys need to know. I always got time to go over a game with you. It may not be a lot of, verbal annotation, but we would go over a game. Okie dokie. So, e4. Knight b1. So a6. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you, Fox, on chess, guys, on ChessBase, not ChessBase, on chess.com, I mean, Leela actually played a game of the week. I saw that on chess.com. So the engine played yeah. Yeah. That's wanted to tell you that I kept forgetting to do that, but Leela did do a game of the week, so that was cool. Boy, someday maybe it'll do a game of the century. You know, our game of the day, then a week, month, a year. You know what I mean? Decade. Who knows what'll happen, huh? So knight b8, knight h4, knight c6. Okay. Yeah, once the engine gets a bind, nice. Okay, c1. So b5, h1, knight, d4. So knight d4 or d5. Knight takes d5, bishop takes d5 with a pin. So this pins the king. Bishop takes. Yeah, I agree. We have to get the engines get their pieces ready for the attack. King g2. Okay, b1. Okay, so queen to f3. Bishop h4. a5, a3. Queen a7. Rook a2. So the queen's retreating. So that one bishop on d5 is a thorn in black's throat, or a bone, as international master Andrew Martin would say. It's a bone in the throat. This bishop right here is a bone in black's throat. Rook h1. This is a really interesting. That's a really interesting move for sure. Now, potentially rook g3, and then get after. Actually, g3 can't be played because of the queen takes h4. Wow, okay, it moved. Yeah, that bishop was way too strong, so the rook had to sack itself for that. Now we're threatening mate. So the bishop has to intercept, or the king has to. F6. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and okay, nice. Well, it's English, so it's very UK. Rook A to E1. I'd probably go over this game, and then I'll see if I may be able to do one puzzle after this game here before I log off tonight. So A4, nice. It's a pawn rush. Instead of on Wreck-It Ralph Sugar Rush, it's a pawn rush. That's bad English humor there. Nice. So this bishop, the queen, I forget how Grandmaster Maurice Ashley says it. They know how pieces know how to slither. Oh, he says grandmasters know how to slither their pieces in and out. So do engines. Like this is kind of a slithering method that it goes in here, it'll potentially go there, back, and come in, something like that. It maneuvers so it can get to the best location. So H. Now the bishop's under fire. So A. Nice, yeah. Check. So the pawn, yeah. So the pawn's going to start coming up the board. Yeah, it's basically resignable because it's gonna check, and then no more checks, and it's game over at this point. Okay, we'll do one more. We'll do one puzzle. Great game. That was actually a really good game. Very well played endgame. We'll do one more puzzle, then I gotta log. Gotta love the puzzles. Gotta love the puzzles, Gaming 23. They're like, yeah. I believe we can actually win, get a queen by playing rook takes, d7, check, king takes, d7, f6, check, see, okay, I have to do this. Okay, here, there. If it comes there, takes, it comes there. Maybe we check after that. I think okay, f6. Okay, we got f6 right. Then king, we'll say e8. Bishop h5, h5 check, and I think we can actually get a queen after this move. I'm thinking here, king takes there. If he comes back there, bishop check. If he tries to come up, we take, and he can't get to the pawn in time. We'll see. We may be able to, if this is right. What do you think, Fox? Interesting. Let's see. So we're thinking f6. So let's say, oh no, the bishop takes the rook. If we tried f6, and we have to sack the rook, Fox. If we did f6, the bishop would play bishop takes a7. Bishop takes a7 if we played f6. So I'm thinking it has to be the takes. Rook takes d7 check. I think it has to be that line. No, we're not gonna, not king. Huh. Oh, true. Huh. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Wow, yeah. So f6. Boy, this is a sticky mess, isn't it? So what you're saying about this, so takes here, king takes, check. Yeah, I see what you're saying, that wouldn't work. He could stop it in time. I think we just win a piece in that line. I think we just win a piece. I think it has to be Yeah, I think f6 has to be the move. Because if knight takes, pawn takes, knight pawn takes, then you have rook to a8. So I'm with you. I'm going with f6. What do you guys think? Oh, it doesn't win a piece? I thought you said, we talked about this though, that if there takes, okay, here takes, takes, we can play rook a8 at that point. And if he played this line like what we're talking about here, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. Remember we talked, you can just actually just take at that point. Remember that? And then you push onward a queen. Remember that? You actually did that line and it worked out perfectly. With f6, if knight takes, pawn takes, if bishop takes, then we take and there's no way to stop the queen. So I believe your f6 move is actually correct. Well, then what you do at that point is you take the, so if we played here, he took the with the bishop, right? We take, and how does he stop queening? So if f6, remember we went over this, bishop takes a7. Then you remember you even told me that f takes g7, and there's no way to stop. There's no way to stop the queening. Black can't get close enough, and this pawn on g5 guards the only stopping spot, which would be f6. So if we played here, he took, we takes. Only way to stop would be knight to f6, and that's covered by your g5 pawn. See, you gotta hold to your decision. You were 100% right. Do you guys have any questions on this before we log? I can't really do another game right now, another puzzle, but I appreciate that you'd want to do that. Let's see, what time is it? Well, let's see what the puzzle. Hold on, let's see what the puzzle is. We might be able to. We'll just do one more. Okay, we'll do one more, but we gotta make this one efficient though. One more. Let's see. one more. We got this. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm thinking potentially rook A, E1. Rook A, E1. Wow, we're thinking alike, Gaming 23. Okay, let's see what the idea is, Fox. Let's take a look here while we're waiting for the moves to be put in. I was thinking also, if the knight idea doesn't work, there's always knight takes, rook takes, and then rook slides over, and now we're attacking that rook and queen. So potentially, but the bishop's protecting the rook, so that idea would not work. It would fail. We don't want a failed move. Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking the same as what Gaming 23 is saying is rook A, E1. Because if the queen does go back to H4, like what was written in there, you can always take this rook, but the bishop would actually take back at that point. So that wouldn't work. Yeah. So that would not fare well for us. But the only problem is rook E, A1, A1, okay, A1, Queen F4. That's what I was looking at too. I'm glad you said that, Chess. I was looking at that. But the only problem is, I'm thinking that potentially he could, let's see, if we played g4, he's going to have to go back there. And if we try our knight, we can't really, we could take, but then he could have perpetual. We do have check at that point, don't we? Actually, hey guys, we win a piece, guys. We win a piece in this line, and the bishop can't take. The bishop can't take because he'll lose the queen. Watch, I'll show you. I had to think for a second. Okay, rook rook a e1. If queen, oh no, that doesn't work. The queen's on f4 drat. I was hoping that she'd stay here and we could do some discovery, but not to be. We may win a piece though. I'm thinking about this line here. Rook a e1. Queen f4. Knight takes. Knight takes d4. No. Let's see here. Let me take a look. I'll just draw arrows because it's hard to think. My brain's like feels like jello. See there, there. Queen slides over. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Queen take. Well, queen doesn't have to take. Or does queen take? Then rook takes, and then rook comes down. Yeah, bishop. Let's see. Rook takes e2. Queen takes d3. Rook takes e8. Bishop takes e8. Queen takes d3. Rook takes d3. I think that's something like that. Let's see here. Here. There. Here. I think that'd be a draw at that point. Rook takes, and then queen would have to take at that point. Yeah, I think you're right. Bishop takes e2 is right. Yep, there you go. Okay, guys, good job. Good work. Do you guys got any ideas on this line before I log off? And I'll give you guys 1 minute, and if not, in 1 minute, I will say adieu, and I will log off. Can we see what happens on Queen F4? Okay. Queen F4, gotcha. Rook takes, like what we talked about. Takes. Knight takes. If queen takes, bishop check. King moves. Queen takes. Yeah, this is what the line was. And then I was thinking of bishop and then a rook. But the bishop move is more accurate. I was thinking of rook, but yeah. Yeah, great job, guys. So this was the line that we were talking about. Am I right? And then if you have to push, and you can actually play rook, and rook takes, and then you just drop the rook back, and you're up a whole piece for a 1 pawn. Is there any other lines you guys want to go over? Oh, okay, good. Well, guys, I gotta say, you know what? We're doing much better. Your games are improving dramatically, and I gotta applaud Fox. I applaud, and I gotta applaud. Let me see. I want to make sure I get the name right. I don't really know how to pronounce your name. I'll just spell it Ishsethi. I wanted to applaud your game as well. So I think you guys are playing wonderfully and doing great. Both of you guys are doing great games. Keep up the good work. You'll be master strength sooner than you think. And then you'll be the ones at the St. Louis Chess Club, and we could say, I knew that I knew that they could get there. I know you guys could go the distance. So you know what? Like there are no limits. There are plateaus. You must not stay there. You must go beyond. That's the whole thing that you guys are starting to see, is that you guys are moving from one plateau to the next one. And congrats on that. And knowing is not enough. We must apply. So you guys are applying your knowledge. You're applying what you know to you know, and you're applying. That's what I mean. And you're willing to do the work, and you do it, and it's paying off in your guys' games. You guys are doing great. We always have to remember that all glory and honor goes to the Lord too. That's the one thing that people miss, that our minds are wonderfully made. So gotta always keep that in mind. And we have to just keep pushing forward, like Hannibal Smith said. We have to be the one to push it, and you guys are pushing the game, and you guys get to see how by pushing the game you can make the game end up on the chessboard where you want it to go if you know the lines. You just have to believe that trust your knowledge that you've studied. And you know what? Keep pushing forward. That's the whole thing. Guys, you know what? Keep up the good work. And we're like that one person who there's a problem, a chess problem that most cannot solve on the table. We hang up our hat, we hang up our coat, and we sit down and do that problem that most will not do. We do. And then we turn from coal to a diamond. I'll leave you guys with those thoughts. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless. I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, guys. And you know what? Keep on doing. You guys are doing great work. We're 100 for 100. And you know what? Some days, we have reds, but we still learn from it. It's these valleys that when you get to the mountaintop, you're walking through a valley, it feels like, and then you get to the mountaintop, and it's these times you have to reflect on when you're in that valley. Okay, guys, be blessed, and Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow, and guys, keep pushing forward, and great job, good work. Okay, bye bye, guys, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, keep up the good work. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Hoorah.